Hi, my name is Chelsea Nyomi. I'm a video editor and a multidisciplinary artist. So this is the Cultural Reflections, the 1.5 Gen exhibition. This is actually my very first show and my first solo show. It's part of the Doc Now Festival, which is a student-run festival by Toronto Metropolitan University documentary media students. In this space, you'll see the artwork from the artists I interviewed for my docu-series. They include Wendy Chang, Cheyenne Gold, Tamara Masha, Raya, Ria Sweets, and Denere Isabel. When you come into the gallery space, you get to see what it's like in the life of each specific artist. First, you can check out their work, you can read their bio, and if you feel connected to them, you have the option to watch a 7 to 13 minute video that will allow you to learn more about them and share their story. Because all of these artists are from different backgrounds and have different styles, I wanted to ensure that they had their own space and that they had their own spotlight. That's why I chose to do an episodic docuseries instead of a feature film or a short film. Basically, the whole concept for this documentary started by me feeling sort of displaced from my sense of belonging, especially during the pandemic and being alone and having a lot of time to think. I really reflected on what it means to be Canadian and what it means to be me. And at the core of that, I realized that being a Jamaican person, but living in Canada and growing up in a place where there weren't a lot of Jamaican or even Caribbean people, I kind of had to put that part of myself away when I was outside of a home or family setting. There's a term that's called code switching, which means you behave differently around different groups of people. And for me, I felt like I was code switching so much to the point where I considered myself a chameleon. But at the core of that, I am a Jamaican Canadian person. There's kind of a hybrid space when you're living in Canada, especially in Toronto where there are so many immigrants and you haven't really found your cultural niche or a place where you belong. So the 1.5 Gen is an interesting space because these are people who were born outside of Canada but moved to Canada at an age young enough for them to adapt to the culture, learn the language, make friends, but they still have parts of their identity that are left back home. I wanted to explore that space because growing up, you sort of have to situate your identity and situate yourself within your landscape. And being in Canada, especially in Toronto where there are so many immigrants, that can be hard to do for someone who is half in Canada but also half back home. So not only did I experience those feelings of displacement culturally, but I also felt that way as an artist. Being a multidisciplinary artist means you sort of have your foot in a lot of different places. And for me, it was sort of hard for me to find my niche or my identity as an artist. I find myself creating different types of work across various mediums. And that can kind of create a little bit of confusion if you're looking for a specific niche or if you're trying to create a portfolio that has a certain look. I find my portfolio is kind of diverse in the sense that I'm able to accomplish many different tasks and create a lot of different work. And I was having a hard time labeling myself as just one or the other. And so I finally grasped onto that term of multidisciplinary because I do just create a lot of different work across different mediums. And that's who I am as not only an artist, but as a person. Basically, those feelings of displacement with both my cultural and artistic identity sort of mashed into this idea where I wanted to find other people who connected with me and who resonated with my story. So I searched for people who I thought would also experience that sense of displacement, that being 1.5 generation Canadians or second generation Canadians. And within that category, I also narrowed it down to specifically artists. How I found these 6 people was actually quite a process. So first I made a casting call or a call for participants. And basically I sent that casting call out to people on social media and newsletters and basically just around the community because I wanted to reach as many people as possible. After I shortlisted the list of participants, I did interviews that were about 2 hours in length. I ended up selecting 6 video interviews for the docuseries itself. And these are the 6 interviews that I selected, or the 6 people that I selected to be included in the final project. A lot of these artists are multidisciplinary, which makes it really engaging when you walk into the space, but also when you watch the interviews. There's a lot of different media and a lot of different elements within the interview videos that sort of keep it stimulating, but also allows you to see the breadth and the variety of the work that they create. The reason why I find documentary important is because it's real stories from real people. There are a lot of things that are happening in the world, and I feel like it's important to create a space for people to share those stories. The themes that I find myself connecting the most with are art, culture, and Black history. This project, Culture Reflections, the 1.5 Gen, incorporates art and culture, and as you can see, there's so much to tell already, so I find myself connected to these stories, and I can see myself telling these stories again in the future.